So I thought I'd make a quick tutorial on how to use the RuneScape Dragon Wilds Custom Builds tool. I've heard a couple of pieces of feedback as to it's a little overwhelming and there's a lot going on, but I promise you everything you see here is absolutely necessary in the current state of the game that's provided to us. There's a lot going on that is locked within the game itself, and in order to manipulate the game in the way we want to here, we need all these files. It's taken me months to get to this point. I'm hoping over time the files will be reduced as they develop the game further. And hopefully eventually one day we might not even need this mod, and they'll just provide us a very simple way through an API like Minecraft to just add building items or custom weapons or whatever. So at the time of this video, this mod can only do custom building items. But I'm working on things where you can import schemas, like a whole building, like a castle, and I'm also working on new armor and weapons and stuff in the future when I get time. But for now, anyways, let's get into the video. So when you download the package from Nexus Mods, you're also gonna, sorry, I should mention this, on Nexus Mods right now at the current time of this video, it's flagged as unsafe. I have Nexus Mods looking into the source code right now on GitHub, which will also have a link on the Nexus page, so you can cross-reference the files on Nexus with GitHub to make sure everything's safe. I promise you that I would not make this video, whether it means anything to you or not. I wouldn't make this video, I wouldn't put this stuff out there if it was unsafe. It just wouldn't make any sense. It would jeopardize me, and that's just not a good idea, obviously. And so, but that in mind, obviously use this at your own risk. There's nothing that I built all this stuff from scratch, so I promise you there's no viruses in here. But if you want to go through all the code line by line, GitHub is probably the best place to do that. But it's all the same stuff. So this is version 1.0.3. And when you download it, there's a lot of stuff going on with the folders. But the first thing that you want to do when you download this, the very first time, is you want to open the tools folder and then the RSDW Custom Builds Manager exe. So you open that. And when you do that, let me just minimize this. You should be provided with this and with this. Did that show up? Let's see. Hold on a sec. All right, why is it behind it? Oh, shoot. 1 sec, sorry. Should have set this up before. There we go. So this RSDW tools settings prompt will pop up the very first time you open the project. If you ever need to open it again for whatever reason, you just click the settings here. Okay? And then it should open. I don't know what's going on, why this is not. There we go. Okay, so this is the window that you need. And what you need to do as a prerequisite before, or like you can download this first, but you also, before you can use this tool, you need Unreal Engine 5.6, which you can get from Epic Games. Retalk executable, which you get from GitHub. So just Google Retalk, this exact spelling here. And then you need to you don't have to do anything here, but you could change your builds folder if you want to, but this one I would just keep blank. And you can click auto detect, and the auto detect is pretty good at finding these locations if you have everything installed on your C drive, which is the drive that your operating system runs on, if for those of you that don't know. So then you click save, and there you go. And I have this set up so that way you can have you get a default piece with this mod. So just so you could, like, a default building material, which is or a building object, which is a wall that I got from I don't know, I downloaded it from somewhere for Unreal Engine. But basically how this works is that folder that you see here, that you provide here, is also, I clicked that, but sorry, I'm not sharing that file explorer. So anyways, but this folder contains the build for this item from Unreal Engine. Again, in this video, I'm not going to get into how to build a custom item yet. I'm just going to show you how to get this set up. And then in another video, I'm hoping that I can show you from step one to the end how to actually add a new item completely, like build it and everything. So when you first get this open and everything and you set up the settings and you click save, what you do is then you click build all and install. And then what's going to happen is, I'll just make this a bit bigger. Actually, maybe that's too big. Hold on a sec. What's going to happen is down here, there's a console. And if you don't know what a console is or a log, that's okay. Just know that it's telling you everything that it's doing to your computer, basically, so that we know it's not doing anything malicious. It's going to go really fast, but you can check the logs later to see what it's doing. But anyway, so I'm going to run it and show you. So when I click build and install, you also have down here, I added this status bar. So this tells you that it's still in progress. It gives you a real-time status update as to the percentage that it's completed. It'll let you know in the log here is if there's any errors or anything while it's happening. But like this message says, it's very important to not close this window, because if you close this window, although it's not going to break anything technically, it'll be frozen in time, the install process, at whatever percentage you close this at. And all you would have to do then is just rerun it, because if you try and run this and it basically half bakes or half installs, I guess is a better way to put it, it could potentially make it so the game can't start because it's corrupted files. It's basically like trying to save something and then pulling out like to a USB drive and then pulling it out while it's saving. So anyways, if you run into that issue and it closes or there's a power outage or whatever in mid install, just reopen the tool, build all and install again, and it should fix the problem. So that's it. So it should be there. And what that did was it installed a couple of packs. And so I'll open up where that would have been. So I think it's here, just to show you the packs that it just created. So it created these 6 here. So again, I'm not going to get into details as to what these all are, but basically you can add, just so everyone understands, you can add as many building pieces as you want. And what that'll do, let me just close this, sorry. You can add as many building pieces as you want and build and install them, and they'll all show up here, and they'll all be put into one pack, which is kind of cool. So you don't have to have multiple packs every time you have a new building item. The one that I did show, that was for those of you that are interested, these pack chunk 651, what these are for, I don't want to get into too much detail, but basically just to keep in mind that this is the main pack here for the building items, and then what these are for is basically borrowing stuff from the game, like shaders, sizes for the walls, stuff like that. And I'll get into more details on that later, like I said, but basically at a high level, if you, let's for instance say in Unreal Engine, you create a really tiny wall, and it's so small that if you were to put it in Dragon Wilds, you'd almost never see it because it's so tiny, because you chose very small dimensions, let's say. But what this mod does is no matter the size you make in Unreal Engine, as soon as you build and install it, it takes your piece, no matter the size of it, and it scales it down to fit the size of the in-game building pieces, like the wall, for instance, as an example. Because you can see that this is a donor, this is of this item, this is, you need a donor from the game. So there's like wall, floor, a ceiling or roof, and so on and so forth. So in this case, it's a wall large. So so it would take your item and it would scale it down to a wall large of what the game is automatically. No matter what you do in Unreal Engine, it'll scale it to fit the game properly, because you need the mounting points from the game. You can't just recreate those unless you have the source code of Dragon Wilds, which we don't, obviously. At this time, anyways. So I'm going to open up Dragon Wilds, and I'm hoping that it shows, and if it does, then that's okay. Let's see. That's the console window. Sorry. Okay. Let me just open this. I'm going to close this. And take a second. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like in game. And then I'll show you the recovery feature, and then I'll probably end the video. So just ignore all this stuff. This is just tests, these names and everything. But so I'm going to start a world that I've already used before, but I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So just ignore what you just saw there. But if I look in my building menu, there's this item. It says custom. Now you can add with this tool, again, there's going to be hopefully many videos explaining every detail of this, but just so you know, you can add custom icons as well. This is just a random placeholder icon that I chose because it's like a wall. And actually my original idea, I started with a brick wall. That's why it looks like this. But anyways, so if I hover it, you'll see what happens. I have my new custom wall. Now, things that I'm working on, bugs right now, the building materials right now, it's free. I have functionality that's supposed to use you can choose through a JSON file. Actually, it's an ini file, but like a config file, the building materials and how much it costs, and also obviously when it breaks, what it drops. But right now, just in this state, it's free, basically. You can place it as many times as you want. It does count for experience as well. So if you don't want to affect your character's progression with building experience, don't use this mod for now. If you don't care, then that's cool too. So basically, when I click this, you'll see, and it's got snapping as well, just like the in-game snapping mechanic that it uses for all the walls. And it also doesn't let you place it on unstable ground. Obviously, there's mods that can remove that, but I'm just trying to borrow as much of the in-game functionality as possible. The other thing I said earlier was it's borrowing the shaders from the game. So you can see that it shows up pretty nicely. It doesn't look too bad. And if it was a sunny day, which I don't have my mod set up to do that, it would look sunny. I, again, have done a lot of work with Unreal Engine of how this is all set up, and I'll get into details later. But anyways, long story short, we just place the items here, and you can break them. And again, because they cost nothing, so I'm going to press B and then T to get into the edit mode or repair mode. And then I'm going to middle click to destroy it. You can see it destroyed all of them because there's a bug right now that where it does that. If they're attached, it treats it as one item. But if they're separated, it shouldn't do that, right? Over here, it destroys all. Oh, it did, I don't know. See what I mean? It's got bugs right now. I'm working on it. The idea of releasing the mod right now is so that people can go through and find things. I don't know why it deleted everything there, and now it's working perfectly fine. But anyways, yeah, I want people to go through, but don't build some crazy building and have like hundreds of building items and then be frustrated if it gets, well, you can be frustrated, but just know that it might break right now because this is just for trying. What you do need to know and keep in mind is that the building items, though, that you build right now, they should be able to be used forever, right? So although building an item, like building a building in the game, like so if I build this wall, like this structure I'm building here, right? Although maybe right now this is not going to stay in the game forever, the work that went into building this custom item, this 3D object, will last forever, and we'll be able to keep pushing it until it's very, very stable. It's pretty stable right now, but I'm just saying, please don't spend, you know, hours and hours and hours building something crazy in the game and then come in one day and it's all gone and then get upset. I mean, I understand your frustration, but that might happen. So then I'm going to show you what happens when, so I'm going to exit the game just to show you that it's actually, oh my goodness, what is it called? It's persistent. That's the word I'm trying to think of. It's persistent. I just exit it and I'm going to come back and I'll show you that the walls are still there. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And I just got a level up for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Oh, right. That's another thing that's happening. Yeah, so that's part of the persistence mod, or not mod, the recovery functionality, sorry, is what I meant. So you can notice that I had deleted all this stuff and it came back. So I'm going to delete it. And again, it's weird why it's deleting all of it. So I'm pushing an update later that's going to fix this. But right now, see how I deleted everything and I exit and we come back? It might still be there. It's like this is a super early version of this and a super early work in progress. So let's just see what happens. They might all come back. Yeah, they did. Okay. So, and it's laggy for a second. And then again, because they came back and they got placed, I get my experience. So again, this is, keep that in mind that this affects your progression as well. And it's kind of like cheating, I guess, in a way. But what I need you to keep in mind is like, yeah, it's kind of annoying and weird and everything else, and it comes back. So again, don't build massive buildings right now. Just play around with 3D objects and get them in the game for now, and then I'm going to work on the rest of it. The reason why it's doing that right now is because if I exit the game and I'm going to close it completely, and I'm going to open up, one sec, let me hide this, open this. Okay. Let's see if we can see this. There. Okay. So, why can't it see that? That's weird. One sec. Okay. So if I go to the mod, oops, oh no, the mod location here, and let's say I take these, and I'm just gonna move them. You can't see this. I'm just gonna move them out of there. I just cut them and put them on my desktop. Okay, so they're not there anymore. And I'm gonna load up the game, and I'm gonna show you what happens. Okay. I'm going to show you that the pieces, well, the mod doesn't exist, so the game doesn't know that those pieces need to be there. Oh, sorry, this is my corrupted player save, sorry. Okay. All right, let's try that. So the game doesn't know that the pieces exist. So they don't exist because the mod's not there. So what does it do? It puts the vanilla borrowed piece for like the donor piece in its place, right? And you could break these, and that probably would affect. Again, I'm not quite sure. I haven't tested that part, but like if you break them and then reload. But so they're here, and someone's panicking because the game got updated by Jagex, or someone deleted the mod, or something happened, and now the mod's not working. But so you have these placeholders, right? Well, then if I close the game, this is where it's kind of weird, but also works, which is kind of cool. So if I then put these back, right, I'll take these. Those are the mods that I like, the pack files that I just took out of there to show you. Now if I bring them back, okay, watch what happens. Close this. What should happen is the custom walls should come back. Search change this. There we go. Okay, let's see. But there is one caveat, and I'll show you what that is. And again, remember that this wouldn't happen every time. This would only happen if you deleted the mod and brought it back, right, for whatever reason. Whether it was your fault or it was the game updating or whatever, and the mod got corrupted. So you see that the vanilla pieces are here, and then there. Okay, so that was kind of glitchy. I know, it's kind of weird. And now you have these weird pieces. So this is like think of this as like a recovery feature. So this wouldn't happen all the time. This would happen only in an emergency situation. Would it come back like this? And you're like, what the heck? Why do I see these vanilla pieces that are kind of like vanilla pieces, like glitched in there? what it's doing is it's using those as a placeholder, and then it's that way it knows where to put the custom pieces, because each time you place a custom piece using this method, it tells the game that the position, the orientation of that wall, and it needs to keep that somehow. So the way to make it so that way if you delete the mod and bring it back, and you want your pieces back, the only way to do that is to have a placeholder piece, basically, right? And so what I'll do is I'll exit, and it was glitched. You saw that too, right? And the reason why that happens is because it's trying to get rid of the vanilla pieces, like the default wood piece, like walls that are in there, and replace them with these custom walls that now exist in this mod that I just added back. And you can see now, so I did a reload, so exit and come back, and now you can see that the walls are actually the walls from the game, not just like the glitched out version. So this is the caveat I was talking about. So what you need to do, which is kind of a pain, but again, remember this is all in test right now, is go into edit mode and see, you can actually see both walls now, and I can delete just these walls, and you have your walls back. And it's a little bit of work, of course, but again, I don't expect this to be in the future. This is just right now. And this is only if there's an emergency and someone deletes the mod or something bad happens, right? I don't know what's going to happen in the next update, if it's going to break this. I can't see it breaking it because of how I'm adding the piece now. I'm actually adding it to the game's database, and not database, sorry. I'm adding it to the game's data table. So it shouldn't be replaced with a game or like an item, like a building item in the next update. It dynamically creates its own ID based on the highest number. And for those of you that don't understand what the heck I just said, just know that this is a work in progress. We have plans to fix it, and just have fun creating 3D models and getting them in the game for now as building pieces. And I'll work on the rest of it. Okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.